And welcome to Tackle the Board. My name is Chris Exusion. You can find me at Chris Ebom on Twitter, and that's Russ Reese, the Vegas line reader. Russ, we're done this NFL week. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. It seems like I keep getting the same thing playing out these past couple weeks. I mean, it must be because of these every team's like at 500 this year. Like it's just getting absolutely crazy. I actually started off hot. I just talk about like my big plays basically. Thursday I hit on like West Virginia college football, and then I was hot. I hit SMU. I got like a backdoor cover, so I'm like, oh, I'm building momentum. And then if NFL comes around, I was so confident this week on all my two NFL picks too. I was like, no way these are losing. The first one ended up being the Colts, and that literally just changes your whole week. And I could have been a 3-1 instead of end up 2-2. And I don't know if you watched the game. The Colts literally were moving the ball pretty easily, and then out of nowhere, Matty Ice throws a pick six, man. Like the Titans literally scored 9 points in offense in the game. Like, and they were getting points, the Colts. So like they could have easily just got a touchdown backdoor anytime in that game. And as the result, you can see Matt Ryan, he's not even on the team anymore. They're getting rid of him, putting Ellinger in there. So very rare you see a team that's supposed to make the playoffs and the quarterback's out now in like week 7 or 8 or whatever. So thank God I can't stand Matty Ice. Some of these quarterbacks are they drive me nuts, man. I'm telling you, I said this last week, these punt blocks, a lot of pick sixes, like a lot of these teams are just losing by bad turnovers. Like if you just don't turn over the ball this year, like if you look back at it, it's just hitting a very high rate. It's crazy. But yeah, it just had to get out of my system because it was a game that I knew that the Colts were the play, man. That game, it drives me nuts when I have a game that I know is the play. Sharps were all over that game, man. And Titans, they just keep squeaking by, man. They're like 4-2. Somehow they're 4-2. It's absolutely nuts, man. They get that stop from the 2-yard line against the Skins, the Commanders in that last game, and now they get that pick six in this game. So things are just rolling their way there. But how did your weekend go? You got anything in your system?
It was funny. Last week, I know it was 2 weeks ago. I had a bad week. And then the week after, I went 5-1 in college. It's absolutely great. Wow. This week did absolutely terrible in college. And then I ended up winning a little bit on the NFL. But my biggest beef for this whole by the way, the whole Matty Ice thing, I have Hurts on my fantasy, so I had to sit him this week because he was on bye. And Matt Ryan was going against the worst secondary in NFL. So I'm like, oh, this is a great spot for him to play him. And he like had 2 interceptions, and he's just like absolutely terrible. So but
yeah, it was one of those games. Jonathan Taylor had like 10 carries, 48 yards. Like he was doing well. Like if your quarterback's turning the ball over, run the damn ball then.
Yeah, and on top of that Patriots game absolutely killed me. It killed my survivor. It was so bad because originally I had Dallas, and then I was like, oh, well, Lions are coming off a bye. I was like, okay, I'm not going to do it. Then I went Patriots, and then they had the whole issue with Mac Jones going to play, this and that. Belichick had no idea he was doing that game. Defensively or offensively, the game plan was terrible. Hurts was just doing draws the whole time.
I honestly had a feeling the Bears were going to win that game. That's why you were supposed to have that segment at the end of last episode, but we never talked about it. We forgot to bring it up. So if you actually brought up the week and we didn't talk all week, I would have definitely told you not to. Because the Patriots, I think they won they had that huge hot start. They had that blowout win, like everything. They're that team that's on the high. They were winning like 3 straight.
Right.
Nobody took them last night or whatever. Nobody was on them. And we saw how terrible the Bears were last game. You know what I mean? I knew that the Bears would probably cover that game, but to win it outright, that was pretty wild too, to see how they won that game.
Yeah, and the crazy thing was Mac Jones started. He was absolutely terrible. I'm like, what is going on? And then Zappe gets in there. 40 seconds later, he scores 2 touchdowns. I'm like, okay, thank God. Like everything is good in the world. Like Zappe's slinging it. And then they were just bad defensively. Like Fields was just like running. They were running draw plays from him. He was even like turning over the ball, and they were like still moving it. And it was like crazy. So it is what it is. My man Ken over here is saying Bears are going to upset this week. Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be kind of tough here. I mean, Cowboys get another. I don't know. Do you see the Bears winning 2 in a row? I mean, I don't know.
No way. I don't see
it personally.
Yeah, the Patriots were a team that I talked about before the season that I was down on, like if they're a favorite. Because if that went down to like 6.5, I would have probably pounced the Bears, but it was so high at like 8, so I kind of just stayed away from that game. I just didn't want to I didn't want to have to deal with Fields, you know what I mean? So But they were clicking. Everything just went their way. Like everybody was open. It looked so foggy out there. You couldn't even see the game.
Yeah,
So
Zappy had the handoff that got fumbled and everything. It was just bad. But let's forget about that week. It's over with. We got.
I've been doing some serious digging and getting my mind right. So I'm definitely starting to feel very good now. The past week I was confident. I went 2-2 last week. Whatever that's going to happen, but we're gonna build up the money the right way, finding these dogs. And it's funny that I always pick dogs, and this is the year that it's like 61% are hitting. And it seems like whenever I'm taking the dogs, all the other games are hitting the dogs. You know what I mean? It's just like, what the hell's going on? We get all the bad luck. So the good luck, everything comes back around. So the good luck's going to be coming back to us these next couple of weeks. Don't worry.
Absolutely. I know I was a small winner in NFL. I was, so I can't really complain in that aspect. But let's get into it for this week. It's Thursday Night Football. It's the Ravens at the Bucks. Bucks are getting 1.5 points at home. Rusty, over under 45.
Yeah. So I think when I was hushing all my big plays in the beginning of the season, or I wasn't. I was just saying my big plays, and they all started winning. And then once I started keeping them a secret, then they all started losing. So I love the Bucks here. So I'm gonna love this come Thursday, man. These guys, this is a team hitting rock bottom, Chris. I mean, losing 2 outright games to 2 terrible teams with the Panthers and the Steelers. Even if the offense isn't clicking in this game, I just feel like the defense is getting exposed. So they had some big holes last week in that Panthers game. They're going to have to shore that up. I just feel like you don't see the Bucks as an underdog. It's very rare. So I remember this happened. I think it was last year or the year before that. Everybody, I think it was 2 years ago. Everybody was hating on the Bucks and ended up that home dog. It was the same thing, the +1.5 against the Packers when Aaron Rodgers was hot as hell. They won that game outright and ended up winning that game by like 30 points. I feel like this is the type of game. It's Thursday Night Football. What do the Ravens care about this game beating the Bucks here? They just came off the win against the Browns, the division game. So I feel like it's just a good. And the Ravens, I said, they haven't impressed me. They're 24th in NFL in defensive yards allowed. So we're getting a home dog, and we're going against a team that's not really playing good on defense. They gave up 20 points to the Browns last week. They just barely got away with that game. So. I mean, if the Bucks lose this and Brady looks bad, it's just going to be one of those seasons like, okay, the Bucks are done with. But I can't jump off of them yet. They still have all their studs. Mike Evans back, Godwin still, and Fournette's there. They're just having issues running the ball, and these guys are all veterans. They'll get it figured out. So I like the Bucks here. You're getting points here. I'll take it all day.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting really pissed off Bucks team here. I was watching an interview with Brian Leftwich, the offensive coordinator. Man, he was getting ripped to shreds. They were talking about EPA being last in the NFL. And he was just laughing it off and everything. And he was like, we're doing the plays that we feel like we're going to score with and everything. But I think more of the story is Lamar Jackson not being that accurate throwing the ball. His last 3 games, he's been under 60%, which is like not really that good. I mean, he threw for 120 last week against the Browns over here. And I don't know. He hasn't really been that impressive throwing the ball. I mean, Cincinnati 174, a touchdown and an interception that game. He didn't even have a touchdown game against the Browns. The pass defense is solid for the Bucks here. I mean, if I'm looking at what they did, they're 6th in the NFL in passing yards allowed. So Lamar's not going to be able to throw on this team, and it's going to come down to them running. But
if you think about it, the Bucks actually have just came to my head that they have like some of the fastest linebackers in the league. So if Lamar thinks he's just going to rush, these guys are going to be paying attention to him in this game. I don't see them having any issues. Yeah, looking back at Lamar, he's never passing. It's only if he has a great breakout run type of game. That's what the Ravens are. And they're just back and forth, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, and they just won again. Like they're not playing good football at all. It's crazy.
Yeah, in the secondary, you got 3 guys that are probable on Thursday. They'll probably play, but they're still going to be banged up. And their secondary already stinks anyway. They're ranked 26th in passing yards allowed on defense. So their secondary has been getting torn up. This might be a good little Tom Brady spot on Thursday night. He might be really slinging this week. He hasn't really been doing it of late, especially that Panthers game. I think everyone's lost their hope with Tampa Bay after that loss. So I think this is a good bounce back. I think there's going to be a lot of public money on Baltimore. So if I had to take something, I would go with you on the Bucks here.
Yeah, I think it was last year. The Bucks. Remember when they randomly lost? I think it was like they lost the game to the Washington football team. Like that was like Alex Smith. It was like a terrible loss. Like I said, everyone goes through their terrible losses. 2 terrible losses in a row. Like, how do you not take these guys as the home dog? Like, you got to take them.
Yeah, Baltimore hasn't been overly impressive. They're still first in their conference, which isn't saying a lot, but they are. But we'll see. I think you got to kind of lean Bucks if you're going to take something here. The next game we're going to get into, we're going to another London game, Russ. We got Denver at Jacksonville. Well, technically in London, the London Jags, if you will. They're laying 2.5. The over-under is 39. Russ, where are we at? Where are we going with this?
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, the Broncos, I actually was happy I laid off of the Broncos last week because I was just like the backup quarterbacks in. But if he is playing here, I kind of like this spot for the Broncos. I was surprised it was actually at 3.5, and whoever grabbed it right away, that was definitely a smart play. It's down to 2.5 now. Trevor Lawrence, I mean, he's in another favorite role. I mean, I got to look back, whenever he's a favorite, he does not look good, and the games are always close. Like, this is like one of those games where he's facing like a very good defense too. Broncos second in defensive yards allowed, and they're fourth in the defensive sacks for the season. So the Broncos still play great D. They were in that game with the Jets. Jets are just pulling off these crazy victories, these close games. So the Broncos, they just keep getting in these close games, win, loss too. They came off the close loss last week. I think they could just pull off a close win here. Nice defensive game. I'll take the Broncos here.
Yeah, you're talking about Jags being favorites. They've been favored twice this year. They lost both of those games outright.
Yep. And I remember the home opener against the Texans. I think it was last year.
That was the game I took the Texans outright this year. They lost them outright.
Yeah. Well, they lost last year, like opening. It was like the first time he was favored. I think it was week 1 of last year, and they lost by like 16 to the Texans. Everyone thought, oh, this is the Jags year. But again, it's not till this year where, as you can see, both teams, I think they're on like a 4-game losing streak, something like that. Yeah. So if you're going to take a team to win, I mean, I would think that the Jags, they were projected to be much worse than the Broncos this year. So you would think they're the team that would be on a bigger losing streak in this spot. So.
Yeah, you know me. I've been against the Jags all year. I thought that 6.5 line was big time public.
It's looking a lot better now, right?
Yeah, because they have 2 wins now, and they might. And honestly, I'm looking at the betting percentage right now. It's 73% on the Jags. I mean, everyone's taking the Jags this game. This isn't a spot where people are going to take the Broncos, even though they played the Jets pretty close for the most part and had a chance of actually winning that game. Actually was one of the games I lost. I did have Denver money line. I think it was like plus 115 or something. It was like pretty much like a coin flip game almost, but I took them on the money line because I thought if they're going to win, they're going to, I don't.
It was a great spot. It was just one of those things where Rippon just couldn't get enough points in that game. That's all.
Yeah, and they lost Bryce Hall, the Jets. That was a big loss for them, and now we'll see. But yeah, they didn't even cover the game anyway, so it didn't matter. So I didn't get the juice on my side, so it was all or nothing. So that's kind of how I felt. But I'm right there with you. I like the Broncos in this spot. I'm okay with it. Like, I think that's even a great point that you brought up. Them being as a favorite, they have not fared well. I don't see them winning this game. The Jags, I think they go 2-7 now. I think this is pretty much where we're looking at. No, they're 2-5 now. Go to 2-6. I think we're right on pace for that under 6.5.
Their second half was a lot easier. I think we talked about before the season. They'll start winning some games on the second half of the season, something like that.
Right. All right. So that's where we're going there. The next game we got. Let me bring it up here. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are laying 10.5. The over-under, Russ, is 43.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with the over here. So I just feel like I don't like this is a letdown spot for the Eagles. So like the Eagles won that big game against the Cowboys. So like you have that huge win and then you come into the bye, you're like, oh, you're satisfied. You know what I mean? You had that big win. You're like, oh, this is great. We get a break. Like, I like when teams come in as underdogs. So when you're coming into this game as a big favorite and you're like, oh, we're playing the Steelers, they're non-conference too, Chris. Like, I just feel like
it's a great spot.
Yeah, how up can you get for this game? It kind of reminds me like that Jaguars game. They ended up like winning by 8 in that game, but remember they were down like 14-0. I think this is something where the Eagles come out slow, like a little sluggish possibly, and then just turn it on, like wake up again. So the only reason I say this is because I think the Steelers can get some sneaky points just to start this game, really. That's how I feel. I see like a 27-21 type of game. The Eagles win, but the Steelers get the cover here, and the game goes over. I like the over more in this game. I would take, because I'm not putting my money on the Steelers. I'd rather take the over, get the Steelers, get their over a certain amount of points, and I know the Eagles can put up points here.
Yeah, I mean, the big issue at the end of the day is Pittsburgh's offense. They're absolutely terrible. I mean, you're throwing Kenny Pickett in there, and you're throwing whoever, what's his name? I can't even remember his name. Trubisky. I mean, it's just a hot mess. And I mean, they can't do anything right defensively, offensively. I like the Birds here, actually, laying the 10.5. I think this is a great spot for them. I think they come out firing. The weather should be pretty nice on Sunday. Good temperatures, everything like that. I think this is just a good spot. I think the bye is getting the offensive line real healthy here for the most part. I know Lane Johnson had that concussion issue, but that was about 2 weeks ago now we're at, so he might be okay at this point. But, Mailata is healthy. I mean, pretty much the offensive line. I think Lane Johnson's probably going to play. I think it's been 2 weeks. I think he'll probably be okay. Usually it's a week long, but, you never know with concussions. But I like the Eagles here. I think they're going to have a really hard time scoring. I mean, the Eagles should be able to score like 30-some points against this defense, and I don't know. I don't think the foot's gonna be off the gas this game for the Eagles at all. I think people looked at Pittsburgh. They beat the Bucs outright. They kept the game close against Miami, but no one scored in that second half. It was 16-10 at half, and then it just stopped. I mean, this offense is bad, and I think the Eagles can make enough turnovers, get good field position. It's going to be a tough game for them to even get close in this game. So I think this could be like a 14-point victory. So I'm leaning the Birds here.
Nice.
Next game we got is Chicago at Dallas. Dallas is laying 9 points. The over-under Russ is 42.5.
Yeah, I'm going to go with one of those Bears under 16.5 points here. So Bears coming off, they scored the 33 points. That's their season high last game against the Patriots, who we just talked about. And again, this is one of the worst offenses in the NFL too. So it's not like we're talking about like an average offense here.
Right.
And they're going against one of the best defenses in the Cowboys. So
great defense.
Yeah. So and then I looked at the Bears, the 2 games where they came off wins. The very next game, they scored 10 points. And then the other game, they scored 12 points. So 2 games, that's enough sample size for me with this team. So definitely just shows me they're up and down. They can't put up that many points 2 weeks in a row. I would definitely take the under just because, I mean, I saw Dak. He looked a little
team total under, you're saying?
Oh, I'm just the Bears. Their team points.
Yeah, their team total under.
Yeah, my bad. But because of Dak last week, he kind of just makes me nervous. I don't know what he's going to do. If they're just going to keep running the ball in this game, I don't know how much they're going to – it all depends on how much the Cowboys score. Like, that's why I couldn't take the spread, just because I don't know how much the offense will be clicking here. So I just feel more comfortable taking the Bears under in their points here.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, this was a great spot last week against the Lions where they could have scored a lot of points. They did score 24 points. It wasn't like a little bit. They could have still gotten like I would have expected them to get in the 30s or so, but I still haven't been impressed with Dak. I mean, even before his injury, still wasn't hitting guys for the most part. I mean, the supposed stats. I mean, I don't have the stats in front of me.
Yeah, I was actually, because that game was on TV, I was watching it, and they had a lot of some good runs, but nothing like passing wise really impressed me in his game watching that game. And we're talking about the Lions, one of the worst pass defenses probably in the NFL too, I
mean, he was 19 for 25 with 207 yards and a touchdown. So, I mean, like, he was pretty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was just like he was doing a lot of dinking and dunking.
Right?
Yeah, he only had 200, right? He had 207 or something.
207, yeah, which, I mean, he probably was dunking a lot for the most part. But, I mean, he spread the ball out a good amount. I mean, there wasn't anyone that really dominated on the most part on the receiving side. If I had to take something, I don't know. I feel like the Bears, they scored the most points they were going to score. And I think this is just kind of a high going against a really good defense. And if I had to take something, I actually kind of would take the Cowboys. I know that their run defense is pretty decent for the Bears, which kind of worries me for the most part. But if I have to take a side, I would sign with the Cowboys because I think they pretty much capped out what they did last week, and I think they're just going to be, how I said they kind of be smelling themselves, like like they think they're like on a roll with something, but they aren't. It's just
I knew this would be a game that we'd agree on. It's just a common sense one here.
Yeah, don't overthink it. Like it's just. If you can get it under 10 points, just take it. I mean, then people next week are going to talk about Dallas is back, and then that conversation will come into play.
Mm-hmm.
Next game we got is Miami Dolphins at Detroit Lions. Lions are getting 3.5. The over-under, Russ, 51.5.
Yeah, I actually like the over here. The Dolphins are actually coming off 4 straight games where they've now scored 16 points or less. And then we got the Lions, who actually only put up 6 points in the last 2 weeks. So 2 offenses, both underachieving recently. So this is definitely a great spot. Tua just did enough to just win the game. Probably just wanted to get acclimated again. But I could see a 28-24 type of game. Looks like it's getting up to 51.5. So this
it's up to 51.5 now. It's moving up.
We want to tell people to just bet right now. If you like the over, just bet it now because it's only going to go up.
You don't think it'll go down?
Nah, I think it was actually at 50.5, and that's why I always check our numbers right before the show, and it actually went up a point, so it's up to 51.5 now.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. I'm glad we kind of agree on this. This was the thing that I only wanted to bet. I'm probably going to lock it in, honestly. I like the over a lot in this game. It looks too easy to hit this under right here because, like, look what Miami did. They could barely score in the second half. People were like, oh, they can't score. Like, look, they couldn't even score against the Bears over here. And then they should have honestly scored a decent amount against Dallas, at least with some garbage points, but that never happened.
The Lions, they fumbled right inside the 1 yard line, and they had a chance where they could have challenged it or something like that, and never challenged it. They just proved themselves shot. And that was against the Cowboys. I mean, so they would have put up 13 against them, but still getting something against the Cowboys shows signs of offense. I want to add one thing that Swift probably is going to come back for this game too. He's been out for a while, and this should rejuvenate them at home too. Getting Swift back would give them some more confidence.
Yeah, I hope so. It says right now he's questionable, but that can obviously change within the week based on practices and things like that. We're still early in the week for the most part, but I'm right there with you. I like the over here.
It's getting to desperation time, so he needs to come back, or they just have no shot of anything.
Yeah, and they really put up a couple goose eggs last week for the Lions, and these defenses really can't stop anybody, so they just give up yards left and right. So this is a great spot.
I think I forgot to take a look before. I think it was the Dolphins. I think Byron Jones is out too, like one of their cornerbacks. So definitely these guys have some issues in the secondary. So that's definitely huge for the Browns. And I think St. Brown, he's been out. I got to check what's going on with him too. So definitely we're getting in the mid-season.
He's probable right now.
Yeah, so we're getting mid-season where we got to keep an eye on all these injuries and make sure what's going on because there's been a lot of big injuries these past couple of weeks too.
Yeah, I think the over is the right play, and it's a spot where both of these teams have been underperforming, and now the over/under is at 51.5. Like people with all the unders that have been hitting all year, people are gonna love betting this under, and they're gonna be sadly disappointed. So I'm right there with you. I love the over. I'm glad you brought it up. I love when we click on a game like that. Next game we got Patriots at Jets. Jets are getting 1.5 points. The over/under, Russ, is 40.5. I feel like the Jets are going to be such a public play this week.
No, yeah, you're right. That's why I was literally checking the percentages right before we got on here.
I'm looking at it right now. Wow.
Looks like everyone is betting the Jets. Yeah. So, I mean, we got the Patriots coming off the embarrassing loss last week against the Bears. And then the Jets, they've actually covered their last 4 straight, won and covered the last 4 straight games. So, and I also noticed you're talking about bet percentage. It's very rare that you see the Jets being over 60% even 2 straight weeks in a row.
Yeah,
so
insane.
Yeah, so and then we got the Breece Hall. He's out for this.
Yeah, that's their workhorse. That's who runs the offense.
Yeah, like a key player this year. Like if you just focus on these guys, like when they're favorites too. Well, this is a spot. I mean, like opposite the public. So even it's a pick 'em. It's a small 1-point spread for the Patriots. There we go. Patriots all in. Exactly.
Yeah, I think it is a spot. Even though I fucking hated the Patriots after that bullshit game on Monday, I honestly don't think they came into that game prepared at all. I think they were looking ahead to this game, honestly, which is crazy to say, but they were completely out of whack that game. And I think I think Zappy's going to start, and him being the starter, he should be the starter. Honestly, he's the guy with the hot hand right now. And honestly, like Mac Jones could get traded to anybody. I mean, there's a lot of bad quarterback situations. Look at the Colts. You telling me the Colts wouldn't want to have Mac Jones right now?
Mm-hmm. We'll see. I don't know, man. The Colts need someone.
But that's my whole point. But what I'm pretty much getting at here is that the Patriots are looking pretty bad. Now the Jets 5-2, which is crazy right now that they're 5-2.
Yeah,
I mean, there's got to be some regression.
This is when you get your double down spot, Chris. You said you like the Broncos. Like, this is when you get screwed in the game, and then the next week, this is when you pounce on them. These happen all the time. Where
it happens a lot because you hate a team and you back off and they win.
You'll give up, exactly. You don't give up on that team. You got to stay on it. You know what I mean?
So we'll be playing Broncos and Pats, that's for sure.
Yep, exactly. Just double down again. You bet more money the next week, man, because it's gonna happen.
Well, you know what? As I always say, you bet with your mind, not your heart. You know, because you do that, you're screwed. You're gonna be. Oh my gosh, the Pats were like a 10-point winner, like easy this week. Like, why did I not take? And Bryce Hall wasn't playing. Like, what are we thinking, guys? Don't overthink it. Like, if you lose a team last week, don't consider them not the next week because they could ease. NFL is always like, what have you done? The lines change because of that. Like, this line was never this line. It was probably like 4.5 Patriots before on the road, or maybe 6.5.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's funny because
6.5.
We were on the show. Crazy things happen because we were on the show last week, and I said I'm waiting for this spot for the Jets, and then I'm like, oh no, now it's a terrible spot for them. So, yep, definitely don't want the Jets now.
No, not at all. But let's get to the next game. We got the Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are laying 4.5. The over-under us is 42.
Yeah, Panthers. This game, I'm going to go with the Falcons here, actually. It feels like every time the Falcons win, they're just getting lucky facing these bad teams, and it looks like they're getting lucky here with another great spot where the Panthers pretty much just won their Super Bowl last week against the Bucs, losing McCaffrey and then just winning that game. Like, these guys know they have no shot. So they won that game. They literally aren't going to care about this game at all coming off of that huge win. And the Falcons, I was looking at their stats, offense at home. They play really well at home. So I just feel like Pitts, he sucked all year. This is going to be the game where I can see him getting a touchdown.
So I got to play him this week?
Oh, yeah. Get him in there.
He's been on my bench.
I saw the tight ends this week for DFS, and they look god-awful. So this is a spot where you want to sneak in Pitts, because all the other tight ends ain't going to do anything. But I see this being like they win by a touchdown, 24-17 type of game. I'll go with the Falcons here.
Yeah, I really like the over this game. This is kind of that situation where the Saints were playing the Falcons. It was around this 42 range, and points can be scored. We know Atlanta's very good running the ball. Their defense, the Panthers, have not been that great with the rush defense. They're 21st in the NFL. They haven't been good with that. Atlanta's defense is 30th and 32nd in passing yards, total yards. There's been plenty of opportunities for scoring here. 42 is too low for this game. I mean, you're dealing with two bad teams, so it's easy to take an under 42 here, but I love the over here. I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities for even Walker and Mariota. I mean, the run game should be solid. I'm curious if is Cordell Patterson playing these days? Oh, he's been out.
He's been out for a while. But
he'll be out for a while. Okay, but I don't even think that's going to really even matter anyway. I mean, you're looking at the Falcons. They both have two corners that have hamstring issues right now. Carolina's got a corner that's on hamstrings. Horn's banged up. I mean, the corners are all banged up on both of these teams. There should be plenty of throwing that should be able to be done here, along with the run game of the Falcons. That should be solid. So I love this under 42. I don't think it's going to go up. It might actually go down for whatever reason because these teams are so bad and the under's been hitting like crazy. This seems just like a division game. People are like, oh, did they play the under? No. Take the over 42. There's going to be plenty of opportunities to score here.
Nice.
Next game, we got the Arizona Cardinals at the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings is laying for the over-under rush 49.
Yeah, I like the Cardinals here. You know,
I knew you would like the Cardinals.
You know, it's just an automatic, man, and it just keeps hitting. It's just hilarious. Kyler Murray is an underdog again, man, and now we actually got Hopkins back. So now Hopkins looked good. Yeah, he looked.
Back doors open.
Oh yeah, he looked real good, man. And then basically the Vikings, they're a team that I don't like. They're overrated. They're another team just taking advantage of a soft schedule and facing teams that just have a bunch of injuries every time they face someone. So Vikings, I looked on defense, they're 27th in the NFL in defensive yards allowed. And then we got Kyler as an underdog coming against a team that can't stop the pass. Like, I'll definitely take this all day. Connor's questionable, but he should be coming back. So things are starting to look up for these guys. They had to win that against the Saints game last Thursday. I said whoever wins that can still be alive in the playoff race. So these guys are starting to get their confidence back a little bit. We know, I think these two faced off before, and it was opposite. It was one of those things where the Cardinals I didn't like, and I took the Vikings getting the points because the Cardinals didn't play defense. So whenever you get like a 4-5 spread like this and the team doesn't play defense, this is just a great spot. Like, what do you think, the Vikings are going to dominate and win by a touchdown or two? Like, no way. Like, this game's definitely going to be close. I'll take the Cardinals here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a perfect over spot also, 49. We're not at that 50 point yet. I would take it right now. Kyler Murray, like you said, great as a dog. That means he's going to score points. And there's not going to be any run game in this game at all because the running backs are banged up for the Cardinals. So he's going to be throwing to Hopkins a lot. And what's his name? Is Robbie Anderson now? Is he going to be acclimated? What happened with him last week?
I don't know what's going on with him. Yeah, he better be playing.
I mean, if you have those two on opposite sides,
it's probably just because it was a Thursday game, so you can't really just put them right in the line.
He doesn't know the playbook yet, things like that.
I know all the fantasy players were pissed off at Rondale Moore, so I know it's going to be one of those games where like he's going to end up scoring a touchdown this week. Right. It always happens that way.
But yeah, I like this over here, and you've been right with Kyler Murray all year round. I mean, like, great as a dog,
man.
And you know what? The Cardinals need this game a lot more than the Vikings. Vikings are 5-1. They're coasting in the division. I mean, they're miles ahead of everybody. I mean, they can afford to lose this game, honestly. I mean, I originally, if I made my survivor, this was one of my two plays I liked with the Vikings to win outright. But, I mean, 4 points is a lot of points. I think you snag that now. You don't overthink it. Maybe do a little the over and the +4. So I kind of dig that a little, little same game parlay action.
Yep. Yeah, we're right about that last week on that Seahawks and the over. So that's the thing we talk about. If it's a high over under, you just take if you like the dog, just take it with the over because these type of games usually go over with the underdog.
And if you follow me on Chris Ebom on Twitter, I have all my plays on BetStamp. It's all verified, documented. My favorite play of the week, I did like the Browns under, but my favorite play of the week, I had over 24.5 in the first half. And because those teams scored so much in the first half, it's insane. No. And of course, Herbert, he needed to get like his scoring after that last week, but it was really the Seahawks putting it on.
I know,
Geno Smith.
Herbert, I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues. I mean, are the Chargers bad?
I think it's just the injuries. I think just because he doesn't have Keenan Allen, so I guess I
think that's a big deal.
And now it's going to flip. Now Mike Williams is hurt, and now Keenan Allen's coming back. So
I think it's probably better to have Keenan Allen.
You definitely want Keenan Allen, but he's always had those like hamstring problems. He's always hurt, and he was the one complaining about holding out, not getting money before. So.
No, I hear you, but I like the Cardinals. I like the over. I think that's a nice bang for your buck there. Parlay those, and you'll be good to go. Next game we got is the Raiders at the Saints. Saints are getting 2 points at home, Russ. The over-under is 50. I think I know where you're going here, but let's see where you're going.
All right, well, that's good. I want you to get your little book out and get your notes out for this game because this is the one I just throw right over to you, man, because I can't handicap these Saints games, man. I mean, I know you're going to love the Saints, actually, because we got Jameis coming back here. So,
even better.
Jameis over there. Yep.
Jameis? Yes.
Crab legs, so I know you're going to be taking the
Saints. Oh, yeah, absolutely, dude. No, I thought originally you were going to like the Saints here, but, I do actually kind of like the Saints here.
I do, but it's just like I can't even pick it because I got to – dude, I looked at the depth chart. We got Qs for question marks or questionables all down the line here for the Saints. So
yeah, I'm looking at it.
It's one of those things. It's Lattimore. That's the key thing. We got to have Lattimore coming back here. If he's going to be going against Devontae Adams, that's going to be huge. So if I were to side, I would definitely take the Saints just because they gave up 42 points last week to the Cardinals or whatever. So, and I never trust Carr on the road, man, ever. He always throws up those duds sometimes. And so if I were to pick, I would take the Saints, but it would have to be At least giving me one wide receiver back and Michael Thomas or Landry in this game. And it has to be Lattimore has to come back. If he's not back, this is a no way play for me.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at the stats as the team, I think it's kind of misleading. I mean, the offense for New Orleans is 8th in passing, 3rd in the NFL in total yards, which I think is kind of crazy.
With Andy Dalton.
I mean, it's just I don't know. I still don't believe it. I don't know what it is. I actually kind of like the under. Mm-hmm. I think they're just gonna try to get out of this game under 49.5. I don't know. It's a weird spot. No Waller, really. I mean,
he might be back. I don't know what's up with him. He sat last week again. He's been on like.
He might not even play. Like you said, we have to look at the injury report.
I never trust. But I think he's coming back. I think he'll be back.
We have to look at the injury report. I'm leaning under, but really this is pretty much a stay away.
Yeah. This is the game, guys. I always say there's a one game that it's going to just decide someone's going to kick the field goal and win. So you don't even have to turn it on till the last 2 minutes of the game because that's what's going to happen here in this game.
Next game we got is the Titans at the Texans. Texans are getting 2 points. The over-under us is 40.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Texans here. We talked about this earlier in the show. Titans getting lucky, win on the 2-yard line, get an interception there, and then get a pick six last week. Tannehill is actually hurt here, so we can tell by the line here. It's only at +2, so I'm thinking he's not playing at all here at all.
Wow.
Yeah, no way.
You don't think Tannehill's playing?
Nah, it would be like 3.5 to 4 against the Texans. They're supposed to be the worst team in the NFL. Just +2 at home for the Texans. No way. And you've been seeing all these quarterbacks lately, even if they have a little bit of an injury, you've been seeing they've all just been sitting for 1 week. Like they know probably that it's a long season too, so it's not even worth. I think I read up something like he had a boot on or something. So like whenever you see a guy with a boot, you don't really see like these guys coming back. I'll take the Texans here. I mean, the Titans, we talked about it. They're 26th in defensive yards allowed. Mm-hmm. If there's a spot here, it's the Texans for sure. I mean, I'll take the +2 at the Texans here.
Yeah, this is an ugly game, Russ. I'm not going to lie. Honestly, I'm looking at the injury report right now. I don't personally see anything with Tannehill right now, but maybe that comes up later. I'm not sure. All I know is 80% of the public's taking Tennessee, which I mean, Tennessee, it has a good record, but I don't know. Are they really a good team? I mean, their defense does kind of stink. I mean, defensively, like passing yards are absolutely terrible. So if I had to lean something, man, this is a really terrible game. I mean, maybe I kind of lean the over a little bit because it's just so low, and I think they can just get over it accidentally because of this terrible secondary. And like they looked really good last week when they should have looked really bad. So I think it's kind of like everyone thinks maybe their defense is coming around now. So, but yeah, I think the Colts are just being absolutely terrible. So I kind of like the over 40.5, but once again, probably staying away from this game.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I mean, it's tough for me. That's one of those things, Chris. It's like I'm going to give up on fading the Titans, and then this is going to be the game where the Texans win by like 10 points, man. Like, and it's just going to piss me off so bad.
This is an interesting game here. Giants at Seahawks. Seahawks are a 3-point favorite. The over-under is 45.5.
Yeah, this is another game. I don't want two teams that are supposed to really not be good this year. I like taking over-unders with these type of games. So I'm going to go with the actual under here. Seahawks, they're actually going to be missing Metcalf. He just got hurt, so that's a big blow.
Yeah.
One of your studs right there. So I see the Seahawks. They love running the ball too. Walker's been doing awesome. He's probably one of the best running backs right now, probably top 5.
Just coming in playing great.
Yeah, playing awesome. So Pete Carroll's got these guys playing hard. And you also see the Giants. They love basically to run the ball as well, and they don't have wide receivers. So I don't see them doing much in this game. I saw Daniel Jones is like fantasy points were like through the roof last week. So that shit ain't happening 2 weeks in a row.
No.
I think he had like 100 yards rush in the game, like 12th man, the crowd being loud.
They put that fake noise in the stadium. You know how they do.
So I don't care what kind of noise as long as it's loud in there and Daniel Jones trying to play on the road. That's a scary thought right there. And also, I think I saw the offensive tackle for the Giants got hurt last week. So playing in Seattle and an offensive tackle got hurt there. You're going to get a couple false starts in that game. 21-17 type of game. I'm not going to handicap and pick the side. I think I'm going to stick with the under here.
Yeah, I can reiterate everything you said, but I'm going to throw one thing at you real quick. The rush defenses are terrible for both teams.
Yeah.
Both teams run the ball real well. So to simplify things, the clock keeps going tick, 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 tick. The run games are going to be clicking first downs. I mean, if the passing game is not going to be that relevant that much this game, we just had a Seahawks team that just went bonkers last week that I really like the over in that game. So, a little regression this week. The Giants have been playing tough with little talent for the most part. So the defense has been stepping up for them. I think there's going to be opportunities on both sides of the defensive line to get to the quarterback here, but it's going to be a run fest. And when that happens, the clock runs out and you're like, where's all those points? And that's pretty much going to happen. 45.5 under. I absolutely love it. I'm glad we were both on there as well. I think it's a great spot.
Yeah, if I were to like a team, I just feel like I like the Seattle more than the Giants. The Giants, I think the Giants
have been just doing everything correct.
Yeah, Giants got lucky on something last week. I forget what happened.
Remember Lamar Jackson with that whole thing when they played Baltimore and they got that
fumble at the end. They were losing the whole game. Yeah. Something happened in that Jacksonville game. I can't remember. I'd have to look back and remember what the hell happened, but I don't trust these guys.
I like the under a lot here, Russ. The more that we're talking about it, I'm probably gonna lock that in today because I think that's gonna go on. I think that line's going to drop. So I really like that. But Russ, we got the Carson Wentz Bowl. We got the Commanders at the Colts. Colts are laying 3 points. The over under Russ is 40. We got Heineke versus the Texas quarterback. I forget what his name is. That's how bad the situation is.
I thought you were going to get me all excited for something. I thought there was breaking news or something.
No, Ellinger, the kid from Texas. Yeah, so
that's definitely some excitement for me. I feel like it's some excitement for the team for the Colts. So that's why actually I'm going to take the Colts here. Is that any kind of positive sign? This team will take it.
The playbook gets opened up a little bit for the young player.
You thought watching Russell Wilson was bad. Watching Matty Ice, man, that might be the most grueling thing I've ever seen in my life, man. Oh my gosh.
Talk about a spot where you should have thrived. 2 weeks ago, he looked good too.
Yes, you have a Pro Bowl running back, and you actually have a Pro Bowl pretty much wide receiver in Pittman. I have no clue what's wrong with this team at all. But Commanders, they're coming off that win, which Heineke was almost throwing pick sixes against the Packers. Yeah, he looked bad. Freaking Rivera's on the sideline trying to get him jacked up over there. I don't know what he's doing.
Talk about bad coach. He is one of the most overrated coaches in America.
If you do not win this game, I will be fired soon. Shit, I might maybe.
The Packers are horrible. What a bad team.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. So, and this is another thing where it's Jonathan Taylor hasn't done anything. And I said this before, he starts going off toward the second half of the season. This is his time right here. I feel like he's going to have a great game here. He'll actually get over that 100 yards rushing, get a touchdown. Everything will be rolling. This team's excited. Ellinger's in there. He's got a little bit of some legs. You can't have these quarterbacks. The problem is Aaron Rodgers can't move anymore. Tom Brady can't move anymore. Matty Ice can't move anymore. Russell Wilson doesn't run anymore. That's why. So all these teams, they're not scoring. If you notice, it's Daniel Jones doesn't have over 240 yards. You got him. They're all 5, 6, and 1. So it's it used to be a quarterback league with passing. Now it's turning into quarterbacks that can run, and you have a running game. It's the whole script has changed this season. That's why it's so weird. No, these quarterbacks that can't move aren't winning games.
No.
Yeah.
I think honestly, it has to do a lot with the preseason stuff. I feel like these guys aren't getting enough reps, and I think it shows. I think the play, honestly, which is kind of crazy to say, it has been down a lot. I mean, even Tom Brady said at the beginning of the year, he's the play of football has been bad, around the league. And I mean, he is as well. I mean, I actually think the less preseason games have actually affected these guys because they really haven't played much in the preseason anyway, but now it's even cut even more. You're pretty much like thrown into the wolves. Like you have guys like Lamar Jackson who like are like MVP type caliber players. They started off hot a little bit, but man, they fizzled off too. And it's just like, honestly though, stepping aside for this game before I get off track, I actually like the over 40. I'll be honest with you. Hear me out here for the most part, but Heineke, they were able to score 23 points, playing pretty much no quarterback play at all. I think they're capable of at least scoring 20 points this game. I think the playbook's going to be opened up this week for the quarterback for the Colts. I think he's going to take a lot more chances. I think Taylor's going to get the ball as well. He was great on the screen plays when I was watching for the most part. The little bit I did watch from him on like red zone for the most part, but I like the over 40. I think this is way too low. I think people are just looking at backup quarterbacks and just pretty much saying like no one's going to score. But I think Heineken got that week, get the little rust off of him that week. Now he's acclimated. He's going to play next week. So I think he's going to play better as well. I like the over 40. That's where I'm playing.
No, I like that too. That's a good spot right there. And the funny part is, like you talk about preseason, like the Chiefs were smart. They got rid of Tyreek Hill and they let Patrick Mahomes actually play in the preseason. You know who didn't play preseason? They didn't let Russell Wilson play any preseason games, and he never played with any of
the team.
Like total idiot. Like you have to give this guy some reps with those guys in a game. So just bad coaching, man. That's what it is too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It goes all the way around. But this game's tough, man. I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of on the fence about it. 49ers at the Rams. Rams are getting 1.5. The over-under Russ is 43.5.
Yeah, definitely another tough game. That's why whenever it's that tough, I got to side with an over-under, and I'm taking under here. The Rams are actually coming off a bye here. And I would think in my head, like, oh, take the Rams off the bye here, but I'm not trusting Matt Stafford. I've seen too many pick sixes. I'm not dealing with that anymore. And I just took the Niners last week. So that's why I'm also just not touching this game after they got blown out. But I'd feel very comfortable about this under, though, because the 49ers were embarrassed giving up over 40 points. So they're going to have a pissed off defense, and the Rams will have the pissed off defense. Which they want revenge because the 49ers beat them earlier in the season. So two defenses pumped up. I'll take it. As long as Stafford doesn't throw a pick six in this game, I feel very comfortable about this under.
Yeah, so I think the most important thing with this game is that the offensive line has been absolutely terrible for the Rams. And I think they're going to get after Stafford a lot. I think he got real lucky in that even though I thought we thought they're going to win by double digits. I mean,
terrible. Yep.
I mean, the O-line looks horrible. Yep. The offensive line looks horrible. So I think they're going to get to the quarterback. I think that's a good situation for the under 43. I like what you're talking about with it. I'm kind of siding with you there. So let's not overthink it, under 43.
And the thing is, we talked about earlier, the Rams, they face those elite pass rushes and they look really bad. The Niners, they looked really bad. The Bills, they look really bad. I think there was one more game, but the Cowboys, they lost that game because they can't move the ball at all against these good pass rushes. So it just hurts me to say, like, I like the Rams, but then I'm going against the Rams as a home dog. It's a tough spot. You got to think maybe the Niners here. Like, it's starting to talk myself into it, but
yeah, because I have a big issue with the Rams. Like, I think they're gonna have a problem offensively. Like, I don't think they're going to be able to get those dink and dunk plays as quick because I don't think he's going to have any time back there. I think he's going to have a really hard time back there. Maybe Rams and
what are the
Niners in the under?
Niners are under 500 too right now. Like, and they got McCaffrey. They just looked terrible last week. I mean, it's a great spot too for the Niners. Like, the Rams don't have that good offensive line. You think they'll just win games against the Cardinals and the Seahawks in the division, but I can see the Niners getting a sweep there in this series.
Yeah, I think now that we're talking about it, we're breaking it down. I think it's a nice 49ers and the under. Maybe a little parlay that action. We might get a little crazy this week with some parlay action, but I think it's just a good spot. Rams are in a lot of trouble, I feel like, and I think they pretty much ran their course at this point.
Definitely.
So Sunday night, Green Bay at Buffalo. Buffalo is 11-point favorite. The over-under us is 47.5.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with the Packers here. This
Whoa.
is actually, yeah, I know. This is the same thing with the Steelers game. we got the Bills. They're coming off the bye. Big spread here. What did they? They had the last big win was against the Chiefs. Finally got the monkey off their back. Beat that game against the Chiefs that they finally these past years they couldn't do. And then they come into this game against the Packers. Like I just feel like they don't need the game at all. Like what they're going to come into this and be like the Packers stink. And then even Aaron Rodgers in his press conference, he's like, "Good, I'm glad we lost because maybe this will be the game we actually come out of nowhere and win or something." So I feel like even if they don't win, I just feel like it reminds me of it's going to remind me of kind of like that Bills Chiefs game. Like I know the Chiefs were just running a lot and just keeping the game close with the Bills. I think that's what the Packers are going to do here, just run a lot and hope for a low-scoring game here. The Packers defense steps up or something. So I could see something like a 27-20 even type of game, just like the Packers can even keep it close by a touchdown or something. So I'll take the points. And again, like I'm not trusting double-digit favorites, as you've noticed. We even saw it last week. How can you even take a double-digit after you just saw the Panthers cover outright against the Bucks? There was a trend I saw it on one of the guys on Wager Talk talking. It was like a double-digit favorite coming off a loss the next week. It was like 12-0 the last 10 years, Chris, and the team against the spread. And the Bucks lost the game straight up outright. Like that's how crazy this year has been going, man. Like this has actually been one of the craziest seasons I've ever seen. So I'll let you dive into this game.
I love the under here. I think you brought up good points that Buffalo just needs to win this game. They're 5-1. They're going to win this game. I don't think this will be an upset alert for the most part. I think Buffalo's offense is too good. I think they'll get their points. I think there's still tons of problems with Green Bay's offense. I think Aaron Rodgers is pretty much on retirement mode. Honestly, I think he just wants to get out of this season, retire, call it a day. I don't even think he even cares about playing anymore. It doesn't even look like he really even wants to play. He's just finishing out because he's in a contract. And honestly, if they even just sat him at this point and just put Jordan Love in, then it'd be like whatever at this point. And he'd probably just be like going drunk to the game, probably just like not even caring at all. I mean, but this is I like the under. It's only this high because Buffalo's offense is so potent. I mean, this is probably, let me see what their over-unders have been. So they've had a 44. That was against Pittsburgh because they were really bad on offense. And they were starting Kenny Pickett for like the first time. But I mean, I honestly like the under 47.5. I think this is more of a cruise control game. Take it easy. Like you're gonna beat them. You're gonna score like 20 some points. Call it a day. It might be like a 28 to like 17 kind of game. Like something like that. Just enough where you get under.
Like something happened where the Packers played the Chiefs and last year and end up being like, remember, none of the teams could even get to like 13 points. Like somehow, some way, the Packers like defense just shows up out of nowhere. The Commanders were catching some pretty crazy throw deep passes, and I could see the Bills just not caring to start the game. I would say, like, if you want to jump on, like, because I can see it being a Packers first half line too. Because I don't feel comfortable like the Packers getting the back door at the end of the great Bills pass rush. So if you guys are going to bet the spread with the Packers, I would take the first half because I could just see it being ugly, like running the ball and keeping it close in the first half.
Right. I mean, if I have a first half line, I don't think I have one.
Yeah, it's got to be like 6 or something, probably.
Yeah, I don't. Oh no, I do. I apologize. 6.5.
Nice, yeah. Even
6.5 is a nice little line if you want to play that
first half, man. Yeah,
that's a lot of points for the first half, and I get it. The Bills are awesome.
Because if the Bills are up, Bills are up 10 points in the first half, you think they're just going to blow them out. Like if the Bills are playing them close in the beginning, the Bills usually, if they play someone close in the first half, it's like they just play them close the rest of the game. Like either they put it on you or they don't. That's like like how the 49ers are. If you guys ever see the 49ers like down, you see they just keep losing the games outright. These teams just like blow people out and not. It's just so weird how it works out that way.
No, I hear you. But hey, we got Monday night, Halloween. scary matchup. Bengals at Browns. Browns are getting 3.5. The over/under Russ is 47.
Yeah, I actually like the Browns here. Desperation here. They're 2-5 right now. And the Bengals, they've been on a roll. I just feel like the public's starting to side with them, getting suckered into taking Burrow right now.
Off a dominant performance. And I think Jamar Chase got banged up too.
Oh, really? Okay, nice. That's what I'm saying. Like the last 2 weeks, he's looked really.
I don't
good.
see anything right now, but I saw he was kind of limping like
Okay, well,
during that game.
any way to hinder him from running his full speed, they'll take it, man. So, and the Browns, they seem to. The Browns been playing good at home too. I mean, they had the one bad game against the Patriots; they got blown out, but they had 70 rushing yards that game. But all 3 other home games, they had over 170 rushing yards or more. So, I just feel like this is a game. Monday Night Football home dog. It's always a cash cow right
Plus
there.
3.5.
Yeah, exactly. So you gotta take the Browns. They've been looking terrible. No one's gonna be betting them here. I even said that last week. Burrow was gonna carve up the Falcons last week. It happened, and it's great when we start getting right, and then we can go back and forth. You know what I mean? So this is a great spot where we can go back and forth, fade them now, go with the Browns. And this might be another one, Chris, where it could be a nice little Browns and the over type of play.
You like the over?
Yeah, underdog with the over type of play because I feel like the Bengals can get the passing yards, the Browns can get the rushing yards. I feel like it could be like that Browns Chargers type of game where they lost that close one and an over. I think the Browns can win this one in the over type of game here.
Right. I was kind of actually looking at maybe the under a little bit there.
Yeah, unless that's possible. If the Browns,
I mean, because what the Browns are going to want to do this game, they're going to want to establish a run, and they can run on these guys. That's going to kill the clock. I mean, really, you're looking at like the defense of the Browns. They're ranked 14th in passing yards allowed, and you're coming off a monster game off of Burrow. Like 47 is probably like the lowest line this game could be just based on that performance last week. Burrow looked awesome last week. I think going to the dog pound Monday night, I think the defense should get up for this game. I like the under 47, but I'm right there with you. Like, I think the Browns, if you get them at 3.5, where you get that hook on your side, I think that's the way to go. I think this is a spot that can win outright, especially with that run game, controlling the clock. 47. I really like the under here, honestly, the more I'm talking about it. Right now, you got 65% on the over right now. 47 is a pretty high number for this game. And it's only based off of last week, based off of what Burrow did. He just went bonkers last week. And let me see what even the Browns did last week. Let me see.
They lost the close one to the ball.
20-23. Oh, I had the under in that game. So I got lucky with that under because they blocked the field goal. It was like a 51-yarder. I think Baltimore blocked the field goal.
I mean, look, the Browns, if you look back, I mean, they haven't had any impressive wins, but they're getting screwed. They have a tough schedule. You play Baltimore, you play New England. You're playing the Chargers. That was just 3 games in a row right there. And then the game before that, they had the bad loss, but it wasn't really a bad loss to the Falcons.
Big make or break game for the Browns.
Yeah, that was the Myles Garrett car crash. So he didn't play in that. That's why the spread went all the way down to it was a pick 'em against Atlanta. So they got screwed, and that was at Atlanta. So they got screwed in that situation. So the team finally, they look good in that night game against Pittsburgh. So I can see them looking good here. And look at their next 2 games, Chris. At Miami, at Buffalo. This is a game on Monday Night Football. They'll just get that big win, and they might just lose the next 2 games.
This is a must-win for the Browns. I'm looking at it right now. If you parlay the Browns money line plus 160 with the under 47, you get almost 4-1 on your money. I think if you're feeling froggy, you want to leap. And let's say you win on Sunday. Hopefully you're listening to us. You win some money on Sunday, and you have a little bit extra coin that you can kind of fire away, feel froggy with, and you want to get that home run swing with a little bit of your winnings or some of your winnings or anything like that. I think it's under 47 in the money line Browns. Get you plus 396. I'm looking at one sports book right here. So
yeah, I'm looking here, Chris. So Cincinnati, the last 2 games, 30 against New Orleans, 35 against Atlanta. 2 big big points right there. And then
Yep.
they had 2 in a row big points early in the season, was 27-27. And then they had the night game at Baltimore and they scored 17 points. So definitely a nice spot here. Yeah, that and the under I think is a nice play right there.
You're getting 2 over games, over 42 with Cincinnati against New Orleans, over 48 in that Atlanta game where they got 52 points right there, just barely going over with like an explosive offense that last week. That's not going to happen this next week. Under 47, fantastic. I think that's what we roll with.
And I talked about the Browns' next games, all tough. We look at the Bengals, easy schedule coming up. Carolina, Pittsburgh, Tennessee. 3 games I think they can win. This is the spot, night game. This is a great spot here, Chris.
Yeah, I think this is a nice little under spot, and I think the Browns here, this is a big-time statement game for them. So I think those are 2 good right there. But that'll do it for us, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sending your comments. If you guys ever have any questions, hit us up at Chris Ebom on Twitter, at Vegas Line Reader on Twitter. People are finding me on Instagram. Fine, hit me up there. That's like my hate line at this point. So either one works. But regardless, we're always down to talk games, college football, whatever you guys want to talk about. I didn't get into it this week because I'm still working on my write-ups for the week, and I didn't want to give you guys a half-ass kind of breakdown of what I'm doing. So be on the lookout for my picks-wise plays, spread, over-unders. I'm going to do both for 2 games this week. So be on the lookout for that. But that'll do it, Russ. Feeling good, man. I love the conversation we had today. I think we really found some good spots here. I'm pretty excited about this week, Russ. I think we're gonna make some noise this week.
Yeah, definitely tackled it, getting really in depth in these games, checking out everything that we can. That's what you got to do in these with injuries, seeing what these guys are playing up next, and just looking at the previous games, not getting suckered in to what's been going on. Going opposite the grain of what the public's looking at. We don't want to be doing what they're doing. So definitely getting our mind right and going to start kicking some ass again, just like we did last year. It's going to keep on rolling. We got a long season still to go. We got week 8. There's 18 weeks, guys. So it's a long season.
And we got playoffs.
Don't be betting your whole bankroll. You got a whole season. Don't just bet for fun. If you want to win, just follow these games, guys. Wait for these spots and just hit these games. So we appreciate all you guys that have been watching. We're going to get rolling. Make sure you guys just hit the like button, subscribe, keep this Tackle the Board show rolling so we can keep doing this every week for you guys.
Absolutely, man. We've been doing this, Russ and I, for combined ourselves like 40 years about. We've been doing this for a while. We've taken our bumps, we've taken our hits. This is a marathon, not a sprint. I mean, we've had our good runs, we've had some bad ones, but we will finish on top like we always do. Thank you again, guys. Remember, spread the word. Subscribers help. We like to get monetized, all that good stuff. Keep watching, keep liking, all that good stuff. Russ, we're going to tackle this board.
Let's go.